Welcome back. With me I have Tiffany. She's a life coach. A lot of people, obviously, they want to be more prosperous, but we tend to throw out different things that inhibit ourselves and from becoming what we want to be. So what are some challenges that you've seen people have in regards to becoming more prosperous?
I'd say the biggest challenge I see people struggle with is not being able to identify their gifts. Identifying your own gifts are the only way that you will prosper in the universe.
So what are some of the gifts? I mean, what's an example of a gift?
Some people have the gift to speak. Some people have the gift of being introverted.
Yeah.
Some people have the gift of staying with a project for long amounts of time. Some people can juggle and multitask. There's so many different gifts. The list goes on forever.
So most people though think that being extrovert is always a better gift than being introvert. So how do you make introvert into a gift?
It is a gift, and only the client knows how to turn that into their gift.
And what are some ways that you've seen people use because a lot of us, we're shy and we want to kind of be by ourselves and have our own moment. So how do you turn that into prosperity?
Being introverted?
Yes.
Well, you look at professions that absolutely demand on that quality in order to thrive.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, if you're extroverted, you're going to choose a profession that demands that.
Yeah.
If you're introverted, there are just as many professions that absolutely demand that skill. So there's no judgment on what your preferences are, but it's important to follow your preferences.
So the key is then to, like you're mentioning, is to recognize, in order to be able to achieve prosperity, is to recognize then your gift, and then to follow a path that is congruent then with the gift that you have, so that you don't try to shift your gift, saying I should be extrovert, I should be like Bob over here, he's an extrovert, and if I could only be like him, then I'd be prosperous. So the key is then to shift and recognize who you are and what gift you have, and then find the path that is congruent with that gift.
Yeah, and the path is found by giving that gift one person at a time. That's how you find the path, is you start giving away your gift to people that are coming to you to receive it.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We'll be right back. Welcome back. With me I have Kate Robinson. She's one of the practitioners in our office, and she uses a technique called laser energetic detox among a lot of other techniques that she does. And it has tremendous effect on people in so many different ways. And it's something that I would suggest pretty much everyone to do just because of its impact. We've talked about it a little bit in previous shows. But Kate, how would you explain laser energetic detox, and what have you seen with it?
Well, it basically is taking a substance and desensitizing the body to it.
Yeah.
In so many words. So I can share some examples and some stories with you and kind of just show you what I've experienced.
Yeah.
So I have seasonal allergies have been a really big one this year with all the pollen count.
Yeah.
And so people have come in with sinus issues. And I've seen a lot of that. So taking some outdoor molds, trying to figure out what it is exactly that they are allergic to.
People are responding. You're using then the muscle testing or the applied kinesiology to be able to then pinpoint exactly what it is that people are reacting to.
Right, right. And so through that method, I am finding that there's a lot of outdoor allergies or pollens in the air that are causing some sinus issues.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to kind of show you an example. So here's my some molds.
Yeah.
And so I would use muscle testing, find one that tested, and put it in the laser.
And what else? So this is like the laser. Yeah.
The laser that I use.
The laser.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The laser that I use. And working with their sinuses, you can kind of see that it gives a laser light.
So it sends actually the signal then from this vial, and that information that gets transferred over to wherever you shines it on.
Right, and so the body responds to that.
Yeah.
And I've seen results working with people with sinus issues where they the very next day they're free of sinus issues.
Really?
In fact, one of my favorite stories is I have a little patient that
Yeah.
comes in, and she was really struggling with some sinus issues. And
Yeah.
One treatment, the next day, in the morning she had a little bit, but then it just disappeared by the time she went to school.
Yeah.
And there was another little girl on the playground telling her that she was allergic to sage, and she knew that because she went to the doctor and got poked.
Yeah.
And this little girl said, well, I don't understand that because my doctor just lasers me and I'm fine. And
See? So bacteria seems like such a physical thing. So how can something like this, just a laser, then have an impact on a bacteria?
well, the laser, like you said before, there's a communication that goes on with the vial
Yeah.
and the body. And it's communicating to the systems in the body, like what it needs to do. And so like, for instance, with the immune system, like, okay, now it's kind of informing the immune system of the project it needs to take care of.
Yeah, yeah.
And it also breaks that connection between the organ and the immune challenge.
Because
So-
frequently, I mean, it's not really the bacteria or the infectious agents in itself that is the issue. A lot of times it's the immune system, how it's responding, and that inflammatory, overreactive immune system. So you know, by using this and then disconnecting that, the immune system's over-response, so to say, a lot of the symptoms then will get better.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So, and also you work with things like if people are dealing with any kind of depression or anxiety or hormonal imbalances or neurotransmitter imbalances, how do you deal with that?
Okay. So again, using muscle testing.
Yes.
And so I have a vial here, my vials here, like for instance, neurotransmitters is a great one to use as an example. So I go through and test what neurotransmitters are coming up.
Yeah.
And then I can go and then it's just a matter of what the person's dealing with and kind of what has happened prior in our session to kind of inform me of what's really going on, whether it's emotional or maybe more physical. Often we have this human genetic material and see if it's a genetic issue.
Yeah, because sometimes it can be something that's passed on then from parents to child and maybe several generations.
Yeah.
So then if you look at it in the genetic, it may be then how they manufacture then their transmitter. It might be a genetic challenge.
Yeah.
And you can then correct that. You've seen that.
Yeah, so we do some layering.
Yeah.
So I'll test for this, and then I'll test, and then we can test and see what genetic material is testing with the neurotransmitters.
Yeah.
And then we have other vials too that kind of show where these problems lie on our different, like, energetic body. Is it a very physical issue? Is it something that we have to deal with on a very physical level?
Yeah.
Or is it more emotional?
Yeah.
And so we can kind of test for that too and kind of hit it right where
And on the energetic level that is at,
where it's
whether
living.
it's physical or mental, emotional, or even kind of a spiritual aspect.
Yeah.
So you can target that. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, it's a really, really powerful technique, this laser energetic detox, and it's something that is very much underutilized and underappreciated because it is something that you can do so much without having to take supplements, and you can actually kind of restructure how your body functions in so many different ways by just using this very simple and powerful technique. So for this, we'll be right back.